All right, good morning. What's up? Looks like we're running off the edge there. Oh, then I can't see. There we go. All right, for anybody new, if you don't know, my name is Tim. I go by Foamy Guy on GitHub and Discord, and I stream on Tuesdays over on the Adafruit channel and on my channel here on Saturdays, usually at 10 a.m. Central Time. And I typically am working on stuff related to CircuitPython. If you don't know what CircuitPython is, you'll learn more about it at the main website for the project here, circuitpython.org. It is basically a version of Python that can run on these tiny computers called microcontrollers. You typically will plug these into your main computer with a USB cable. They show up like a thumb drive. Then you can edit some Python code on the thumb drive, and when you save it, the microcontroller will interpret and execute that Python code for you. So that is like the quick version of how, like what CircuitPython is all about. Today I'll be messing about on the lovely FruitJam device here. And we will be diving back into Picogame, but before we do, let us say thanks to Adafruit. Adafruit is a hardware and software company based out of New York. They designed the FruitJam that I'll be using a bit later on. They also design and manufacture lots of other, not only microcontrollers, but bits and bobs, components, doodads that you can hook up to your microcontroller to make them do fun and interesting things. And it looks like new products popping back up, some as well. So we got CO2, temperature, humidity, SCD 43 popping up in the shop. But Adafruit, as it relates to CircuitPython, is paying folks to work on the CircuitPython project. It's an open source project. Anyone's allowed to use CircuitPython for free. Anyone is allowed to take the code and modify it. It's permissively licensed under MIT license. You're allowed to port it to your own device. You're allowed to like modify it to do what you want on your own hardware. And CircuitPython is sponsored by Adafruit. They pay a team of folks, including myself, to work on it and publish all the code under those open source licenses. They also pay people to work on other open source projects that aren't CircuitPython. There's Arduino drivers and other things that they pay people to work on. So if you like open source software, if you want to help support them and the open source software that they support, including CircuitPython, one of the easiest ways to do it is purchase hardware from them, which you can do on their website, adafruit.com. FruitJam's back in stock, it looks like. Yeah, FruitJam's in stock. Look at that. A couple 33 of them there. So you can get yourself one of those if you don't already have one, if you want to play around with the same sort of games that I will get into. Okay. So I am going to take today to just sort of explore a little bit to see what is new with Picogame, to experiment a little bit, and to try to figure out what kind of game I want to make for the Game Jam stream coming up on CircuitPython Day this upcoming week. I have been pretty heads down in audio world for the last couple of weeks, working on some different audio improvements in the core, new functionalities, fixes, all kinds of stuff, and then the Teenage Engineering EP2350 Ting, and I am also looking at another audio device now. So I have been in that world for a little bit. I have not messed with Picogame since around the last time that I used it on stream, or I think I created this thing a little bit after that, which is this is like a little Jurassic Park file viewer thing inspired by the Unix system in the movie. Did I end up playgrounding this? Don't think I have yet. I don't know the I don't know the I don't know the URL for playground. It's playground.adafruit dash playground. Think no. Can I go to mine? Oh, I'm not signed in. I'm not signed in. Hmm. Oh. Macropad is the last one. I need to do the Jurassic Park one still. In any case, whenever I made this, I think I dropped it in the show and tell room on the server there. I don't know that I ever showed it on the actual show and tell. Don't remember for sure. But in any case, that's there. If anyone wants the code for it, I can share it. I think I even put it on Gist and put a link at one point in the Discord. But this is essentially a couple weeks back, and that is the last time that I really messed with Picogame, but I know that it has continued improving in the time since then. So I'm going to hit the Discord, and actually the very, very first thing I'm going to do is just get the latest version built. I imagine we'll need to update libraries and some other stuff as well, but and I think, did I have, yeah, I had a different copy of the repo for Picogame, and this is on Picogame, which is, I think, branch where we want to be. Although, actually, was there a different branch for so one of the things I do want to do today also is brainstorm / figure out a, I guess, genre of game. Top-down driver. This might be kind of fun. I'm aiming for, like, I want to make something that we could not necessarily do before Picogame. So this top-down driving is something that our rendering engine just wouldn't really allow display IO. Like, you couldn't really make this and drive around smoothly. Side scroller maybe is another option. Yeah, Picogame branch, and let's take a quick look and see if there's still. So at one point, Pico DVI, like Fruit Jam stuff, was separate. Fruit Jam here. I wonder if that ever was merged up to Picogame. And where's compare? How do I do a compare? I mean, I could do it here, I suppose. Where are my origins here? Where are my remotes? And to go with lowercase origins. I know GitHub can do this, but I also know that my IDE can as well. Why do I have outgoing commits? What? Oh, I just merged main. Okay. That doesn't matter. Honestly, what we could do is we could just go back to main. I could just delete this. Then Be updated. And then I also want to grab the other one for Jim. Then we can. I think I have to ask Scott. I think Scott wanted to get away from board.display, which is why supervisor.runtime.display is the sort of new way. But to the point of this comment, the old boards, lots of them do still have a board.display declared. In any case, it does not look like there is all that much difference. That's the only difference. Commits that exist in FruitJam, but not Picogame. So I think there must have been more here in the past that got merged. And this is the one that hasn't made it. And I don't know that we need this, honestly, because we can just use supervisor.runtime.display. So I think we just go with Picogame here. This is the main branch on this project. And it is updated as of like, I think I saw commits yesterday, the day before, right? Yesterday. Flash shrink pass, shared helpers. Shrink. So one thing I will say, I know, and for folks interested in the Picogame stuff here, I do think there's now an issue open for discussion. So if anyone wants to follow along with the progress on Picogame and getting stuff merged in, issue in PR here. Could test out the PR branch, actually. Maybe I should use this branch. Actually, why don't I do that? FruitJam. Not sure what that part means. I was gonna say there was. I think this is the thing I was thinking of. There was something I think Smick had mentioned about a thing that would effectively reorganize the flash. It would steal a little bit of space from CircuitPy and use it as a spot to store assets, I think, like graphics, and then it could render them quicker for some reason. That's my very quick understanding of what I thought I read in the Discord, so it may not be reality, but it looks like it's not included here, which is one thing I was going to say I should probably, it's probably still a good idea anyway, to just go and back up the FruitJam, although it looks like the FruitJam does not have hardly anything on it right now anyway. Probably wiped it at some point. Just give it a 1 in case we get another one later. Or maybe, is this a new one? New one out when I, not new, but just one that I hadn't really put a bunch of stuff on. In any case, yeah, let me actually use this branch instead of Picogame from Smeetka's fork. Why don't we do that? So we can get fetch Adafruit, and then it's actually a PR already, so I can just GHPR checkout 11199. One shy of 200. No default, right? Because I have 2 remotes. I have 3. Well, okay. I have 2 remotes technically in my repo, but CircuitPython is a fork of MicroPython, right? So that's 3rd remote. Checkout. No, it wants. Why do I have a bunch of changes now? Changes. These don't matter. Go game stuff. I'll just undo this stuff. It should presumably be in Presumably it should be in the thing there, or whatever the current version. The other thing is like it could have changed names or anything. I don't know. Let's try again. Go. Add Picogame. Very good. It looks like maybe some of my things are... My frozens are out of date. Is there a... No, that's a make... I can never remember. Like, one of the repos, there's an update frozen modules or something. Update submodules or something like that. But then, the core repo here, there's not. But there is this, and then I could do this, and I think it maybe gets done. Part of this. Which will be nice, because after I update these, then hopefully they won't show here as like changes that are needing to be staged for commit or whatever. Yeah, see now. Well, it's still working, but yeah, eventually here we'll land on an empty list because we have not changed anything. Okay, and then it was like fruit jam mp config make. Just quick peek there before we build, and then I'll build and we can flash this. Yeah, Picogame is there. I think the one I had before also was like fast display or something, so we'll see what if anything there is different. Let's go make... I'm just gonna do this so I can copy. I wonder how hard it would be to make this allow a non-shouty board. Put this in bootloader. And while that is going, take a look here. Not sure. Trying to think, like, where's the easiest place to look for kind of like what's been up lately. Right, yeah, so you did do a bunch of work on 3D after a couple of us, like the Jurassic Park one I had there, and I think some other people he mentioned had done some 3D stuff as well. Even with the engine prior, which was mainly intended to be 2D. And you added some stuff in to actually start supporting 3D math a bit more specifically in the core. I haven't even played with yet, but honestly, performance was quite good even on the on that Jurassic Park one, even without that stuff in. All right, copy the build. All right, we got booted back to this. file right. If I disable auto reload, that will not happen really as much. I think something on my computer, probably PyCharm or something. I'm not entirely sure what it is, but essentially, occasionally something on my computer does something that CircuitPython interprets as writing, and then the auto reload kicks in. What was it? Is it S? Yeah, S will sort. So these are like smallest to biggest. Sort and unsort there. You can go inside the subfolders back here. Go bitmap font. We got MP5 files. Yeah, this is pretty cool. And that's working just fine. So it looks like none of the APIs that this uses at least changed. That's cool. And I think, what do I want to look into? So are there, I want to say, is there a, I did make it through the tutorials previously. Didn't do this art and assets one. I should look into this one. Not too much here, but I should definitely look into this one. I want to say, isn't there a, then this stuff, game design stuff. Oh, this is a cool page, actually. Yeah, kind of like a more higher level, not nuts and bolts specific code, but like patterns that make games appealing to humans. Yeah, it might be down to a top-down driver or a side-scrolling platformer jumper. I've never made a platformer game. I mean, I've never made a top-down driving game either. Yeah, there's a lot of good stuff here. There is also an agent skill, which is cool. I'm interested to test this out, although I don't necessarily want to do that today for the stream because I want to get more of my own head wrapped around it. So this is very cool to be able to have it help you work through a game. Oh, 3D stuff is added onto here. Nice. Oh, look at that. Wow. Oh, and there's rays as well, raycaster. So like sort of Doom style maze walls. That's cool. Huh, nice. Those look like the files. There's a crazy flash there. Just in the GIF. Might be in the GIF. Might be. I think there's like one frame of the racing game or something there. Ooh. Oh, that one's going too. Maybe my browser's just wigging out. .3D. Yeah, this looks like similar kind of rendering that the file manager did there. This thing back here. Oop. All right. Rex and juice. Juice. Oh, that's cool. Shake is a whole huh. And we saw this back on the patterns page or the game theory sort of stuff page, we saw this animation. I didn't realize that it was built in as a sort of like one-line helper there. That's cool. Just do shake, max offset. Looks like you probably start it with this and then call tick in your main loop. That's cool. Hit stop, frame freeze. Ooh, nice fade effect as well. Look at that. I did not know this stuff was built in. This is really cool stuff. This is great, like, just transition stuff. Like, you know, most people, you sit down to make a game and you kind of, like, build out the game forever and ever. And, like, if you're me, you never necessarily get too far past actually having a game or even part of a game. But this kind of stuff, like, really adds a lot of polish, I guess, like transitioning from scene to scene, from the menus to the world, and this sort of stuff. Having little quick animations. You don't want them too long because like you don't want people to be waiting on them, but definitely adds a nice touch. Little dialogue pop up there. Looks like, and it's using what you call it. I don't know, speed curve or whatever, acceleration curve. Smoothed camera. Oh, camera can follow. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, this will be helpful for the, this will be helpful if we go platformer for sure. Vertical gradient background. Can't necessarily visualize that one. I mean, it seems like it's just gonna be a gradient. Guessing we could draw it on the screen, maybe? So I think these are probably just a copy of each other. Yeah. I'm gonna overwrite this one. So one thing is we don't have any of that stuff. Scene. I'm gonna guess width and horizon. So scene, I think we need. Okay, like this. Guessing. Oh no, there is this also. Background. I need to change the colors. We'll see what we get when we do this. Background. Where's the size? Browser. You don't have to. So W. I'm assuming that's width, and we're on 220 by 240, I think, technically. Horizon, I'm guessing that's just like a Y, like where it's gonna start, maybe? I don't know. I'm just gonna put 200 and see what happens. And then I think, would we need while true? We don't have buttons, so we won't pull, but we will scene.refresh. What? I'm totally editing the wrong file. Nice. Okay, there we go. So Yeah. So this made a sky gradient for us. So this would be good. And you can declare your colors. So this is like a daytime sky, but by altering the colors you use here, you could get a darker sky or a dusk or a dawn or whatever. Now, I think that if we move this to 100, it moves up. So yeah, that is just a Y value, I think, starting at the top, moving down. And this is the bottom of your gradient. It starts at the top of the screen. You might be able to declare here, actually. I don't know if it needs to be called sky, per se. Vertical gradient background, sky. I guess it's short. Ultimately, it's just a gradient, though, right? Because you can stick in any color. Y. Okay, you could change Y, so you could have, like... It doesn't have to go all the way, either. We could do, like, 50. And that would scooch it down some. I don't know why you would want that. Possibly there's a reason, though. If you have something above the sky for some reason. Okay, that was kind of cool. Scan lines. CRT scan lines. Sure, I can't really picture that one. Maybe we can try it with height. Add last on top of everything. Okay. Yeah. For flash warning. Particles, these are cool. We did play with the particles a little bit when I went through the tutorials. I forget which one. I think maybe you pick up a coin or something. There was a little particle. Those are cool. I like those. Game palette. Pal 8 art. Interesting. So this is a trick you can do with display.io as well, where like if you want to achieve a moving effect or a changing of some pixels, like one of your options is to change the pixels in the bitmap to be new pixels, different colors, whatever you want them to be. One of your other options is to change the colors within the palette, which will instantly update the visual bitmap to show the new color wherever that index was at. Looks like this is using that to create this sort of shifting effect. Water BMP. We don't have a BMP. Warm. Oh, recolor. Water bitmap. Okay. Cool. Okay, this is cool. I had no idea there was a an editor. I don't know how to use it, but okay, we can scroll with arrow keys. And this is just like our camera. You can select stuff with regular click. Is there a 1 to 6 is select paint. Place pan. Select paint. Work on just those. So 1 would do the same as click? No. Click seems to be selecting things. But 1 is not selecting anything. 1 to 6. Maybe that's saying these? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But last couple are in a slightly different order. Oh, 1 is taking me to the select screen, maybe. 2, I see. 2 takes you to paint, 3 to place, 4 to HUD, 5 to zone. Okay. Okay, I don't know what the different views do. I mean, some of them are sort of descriptive, right? Place and paint are easy enough. Select. One thing I noticed is we can't select multiple. Shift maybe? Oh, no. What do we have here? Space, drag, and middle drag. Pan the view. Oh, okay, yeah. Cool. I don't do space bar very much because space bar is on my right hand, which my mouse is on usually. Space and mouse is not one, but middle click I can do totally. Mouse wheel, room in and out. That does up and down. Oh, control mouse wheel in and out. Yeah, that's pretty standard. Okay, nice. Zoom with plus and minus. F for fit. Oh, that's cool. F for fit is nice. Minus. Plus and minus are not working for me. I think it could be not using the numpad ones technically. That matters. Anyway, my numpad's kind of weird. Arrows. We did arrows earlier. Shift and drag in the paint screen will fill a rectangle. Paint screen 2. This doesn't make any sense, but I'm just gonna, let's paint some. So click and drag. Was it control click or just click? Shift and drag. Shift. Nice. Cool. And is this a coin or? I don't know. That. There's play. There's try and playgrounds. Oh, there we go. Let's wait to fly. Oh, we have only the collision with the ground. But we can, oh, we're under, we can go over here. Yeah, we can see this one here. This is the one I made. Okay, so we collide specifically with, like, that last sliver of the ground. We can actually go pretty far into it. And that's the thing we built. Okay. Alt click for flood fill, Control Z for undo and redo. That's a really nice touch. Copy paste, also cool. Duplicate for D. I don't know how to use that one. Oh, Control D. Oh. Control C and then V and then D. So copy paste. Okay, I mean, I don't have anything selected. Surely I would need a thing selected. Duplicate. I don't know where it would spawn if we duplicated it. Oh, that doesn't work. Paste here. Oh. I'm not sure how to do the copy pasting or what duplicate does. Delete selection. Delete select. Delete selection, like delete it or deselect it? Either. Delete select. Doesn't seem to do either. The selected delete does nothing. Oh. Oh. Escape closed out of that. So this is like editor. I don't necessarily care for the way this is like. Here we're on a page reading about the editor and stuff, and this is like a link. The finger turns into a finger and you can click it, but it's not actually a link, right? Because when I hover it, it's not going down there, it's just a JavaScript thing. And then instantly it like replaces the whole content of this. Like this has not changed. And if I press escape, we kind of lose what we were working on. Close button does the same. I kind of wish this was like its own, like, make it its own page or something. Maybe even have a little bit of auto save, what you call it, local storage. I don't know where save would save to. JSON file. All right, let's reload that. Scrolling, that gets us back to this one. So can this do... I'll set PNG. I'm gonna upload a tile set. It would be nice to be able to see the tile set that this one uses. I can imagine it's probably just one box of each color. But it would be nice to see. Oh, these are supposed to be gold, I think. So there's dark red and then light red. Try playing this, and so that opens a whole new one. This time it loaded faster, possibly because I didn't click run like 4 times. I'm gonna see if it does anything if we reach the end. I don't know if the light red one will do anything. No, not yet. Okay, so you'd have to add code for that. Oh, that's a slime. Is that a slime? Oh, dark red is a slime. Spawn point. Okay, that's our spawn point there. Trigger. Oh, a trigger rectangle. Okay, so this is like when the character gets into this zone, something can happen. I don't know that it would be visible. Is it visible? I mean, you could obviously put something there that is visible. No, I think it's like right here, right? Yeah. I guess this is like this to make it nicer for jumping, right? This doesn't have any actual gravity or anything, and it's a little slow for a platformer. But if you imagine this going faster and you jumping like this, right? It's kind of nice if you can actually overlap with this a little bit before you bonk your head. Yeah, this is very cool. The level editor is very cool. I wish it was its own kind of like page though, instead of a thing that you click and it sort of takes over this whole page. At the risk of like then you can also lose your stuff if you close it. Unfortunate. Let me mention some of this stuff. So if you go back, yeah, it kind of like interrupts the back button flow of how it intuitively feels like it should work, right? Because we clicked, like in the head, this is like going to a new page because everything changed. So if you went back from here, you would expect to get back to the page we were just on. You'd expect to land here. But we actually go one back from here because this is not actually a different page. It's kind of like overwriting everything in this page, or hiding, I guess, just swapping the content. Clicking the thing to launch it and having it, let's say, overtake / embed then the current page makes the flow feel a little weird. Use the back button. Perhaps auto-saving the state to local storage might be nice as well, but a single escape key press cannot erase work as easily. I'll just say erase your work. Is that in the repo somewhere? Ow. Oh, there are a bunch of games here. Well, not a bunch, but there are some. I mean, there's like 8, 7, quite a few. There's also examples where there's lots of other stuff. Don't look like the... Not look like the, I'm not sure where the docs are, if they're in any of these repos, like this page, this website page here, which is where the editor would be embedded, I presume, the code for it. I was gonna say, if that is like here somewhere, I could also work on a PR. Public collection. Guided tutorials. So the guided tutorials are in this one, which are part of those. Part of the website. There must be more to the website elsewhere still. In the glossary and playground, and runs in the browser. But that links back to there. Okay. Yeah, I'm not sure. It's unclear to me if the docs are in the repo somewhere or not. And then the docs, I presume, would be where this thing would be contained, the code for it. So if one wanted to try and go and modify it to, let's say, have the auto-saving, you would need the code for this page, basically. I wonder if that could just be hosted. I wonder if the editor could just be hosted on a GitHub page. I kind of suspect that it might just, I mean, like, it feels like it's all JavaScript, right? Like, technically, I guess there's nothing that says it has to be all JavaScript. We could watch the network traffic to try to find out if it is. There could be a backend server, but my instinct is that this is all JavaScript. So theoretically, this page could just get hosted in GitHub Pages or somewhere else as like another copy. Okay. Are one of the examples a platformer? Oop. Gatro. Bang bang. Oh, okay. Yeah. I played a played a bunch of Scorched Earth. What this game is based after. Does this do yeah. Does it I wonder if this does I've actually made a game like this as well. I made Kitten, what do we call that thing? Kitten Wars or Kitten Tanks or something. Made that for it was not a game jam, but we made a game for it. It was a what you call it? Hack overnight thing. Trying to blank on the name. I'm yawning just thinking about it though. I wonder if the terrain is destructible in here. Yeah, they do. Right there. Nice. Oh, okay. Is this like that Balatro? I haven't actually played that game, but I'm familiar with it and its prevalence. Although, I mean, maybe these are relatively standard cards. A poker deck builder. Play the best poker hands to beat the 5 rising score targets with the twist. Is the discard. Throwing cards away banks a bonus onto your next hand. Time your banking, hoard your best cards across builds, put on a show. Interesting, yeah, so it's just kind of like different take on poker card game. Which I think it may be similar. Based on the name, I'm guessing it may be inspired by, let's say, Balatro. Or I don't know how to pronounce that name either for that game. I haven't actually played it. Yeah, this is one of my thoughts. Top-down racer. Although I don't know if I would I do racing? Maybe just collecting or something? I don't know. Just top-down driving around is cool and is kind of like unexplored territory in CircuitPython because, like I said at the top, we just couldn't really do this with Display.io. Okay, and this one's like time trials with a ghost car. Yeah, time trials is one thing. It's not my genre. I could make the game, but it's not the kind of game that I would play probably. Just trying to do the like faster lap doesn't hold me for very long. But maybe like driving around collecting things. You collect coins or something like that to go between different levels, and then you got to watch out for the cars trying to ram into you or something. I don't know. Maybe something like that. That's a maybe. That's a maybe on the top down, I think. Eraser, I'm guessing this is Tetris. Yeah. Inspired by Tetris. Not trying to get any Nintendo lawsuits coming our way. Okay, I think, is that Galaga or whatever? I'm not sure the arcade game, but obviously that's like a common arcade game. Forget which one. I actually did a game like this for the Game Jam one year for CircuitPython Day. It'd be fun to go back and make a new one with Picogame. So this, it looks like, this is almost like side-scroller-esque, but it's not platforms. Looks like we're diving or something. Underwater shooter with a submarine. Oh, okay, you gotta go back up. I see, that's kind of cool. You know what this reminds me of? Especially having to go to the top and stuff, or trying to get to the top, is the fishing minigame in Legend of the River King, which is an old Game Boy game that I played that probably no one has ever heard of, so help very much. But anyway, there's an old Game Boy game. It's called Legend of the River King. And when you are fishing, you get a view like this of under the water, and you got, instead of a submarine, you have a fish, and you're trying to like reel it in to get it up to the top. Wing, was that Pico? No, that was Quest. Wing was the Galaga or whatever that one is. Rain. Logic puzzle. Huh. Up a direction, the locomotive rolls off. It keeps rolling on its own. Every tile it crosses lays down a rail, and the wagons behind it chase the head along the trail exactly like a snake's tail. Roll over a gem, and it hooks as a new wagon. The more you collect, the longer and harder to route your train. Clear the board of gems, and the gate swings open. Drive the head through it, and the level is done. Touch a wall, the shut gate, which is a wall, or your own tail, and the level snaps back to the start. Okay, so you know what this is Snake, basically. This is like Snake reimagined to where instead of just an apple spawning and you eat the apple and get bigger. You're a train instead of a snake. There's gems instead of apples. And you can finish the level by collecting all the gems and then going through the door, which opens. But I think the controls and sort of the conceptual components, I think, might be pretty much Snake. Oh, and there's a bunch of levels created. That's cool. 50 levels. Looks like someone else created this and it's been copied over. Nice. Yeah, that's a cool game. Okay, so there is not a side scroller. Like a platformer, though. At least so far. Let's look at examples also real fast. Oh, excuse me. Oh, map. No, okay, these look like more just parts and pieces. When I was in games, let me look at demos. Does demos? There are a couple more here. Platformer. Okay, maybe we run this one. Oh, I see probably why maybe Miko wanted the board. I'm pretty sure the supervisor ones should be able to be used on the old devices as well. So I think the supervisor one is the one that Scott wants to use moving forward. I don't recall the exact motivation behind it. I want to say it was like, I forget which device, but I want to say there was like a device where it was either it could have two different built-in displays, like it might be one or it might be a different one, or you know what it could have also been was the change, like at one point it got changed to where you can set the display as well. So you could initialize a display, you know, using the Python level library. You initialize it so like maybe it's not built in, maybe you wired it yourself, but you could initialize it and then you could set it. And I think when that setting ability happened, which would then make it so that if your thing reboots or whatever and you come back, it's still actually there for you. As board.display it would have been at the time, I think. But then I think maybe when that was getting developed, there was this change over to supervisor. I want to say Scott was thinking it's like ties more accurately to what it is, since the display might not actually be on the board anymore if it's wired separately or whatever. Yeah, but I don't remember for sure. I have to look back at the PR. In any case, I think this is the newer way, and I think it should work the same even on the older devices. The older well, not older firmware, it's not if you go too old, but the older devices. So like that one that was mentioned in the one commit that we didn't get was, I think, Feather DVI. But lots of other stuff. Pi portals, all this stuff has board.display still. But I think you can also use this, and it will work on those as well. No module, Pico SFX. I'm guessing that is sound effects. And truthfully, we should probably just grab all of the libraries. Do I have this cloned somewhere? I have Picogame libs. I think maybe that could have been from before. Might have had a separate repo. There we go. I'm gonna get wrecked by that thing. Whoops. Okay. Okay. I think before I was running through all 3 lives really, really fast because I was actually at the spawn point, so I was instantly respawning, but the bad guy was... Ooh. Oh. That good one? Does that mean we can jump on their heads like Mario? Oh. Got it auto-reloaded. Oh, it does say jump on the enemies. Nice. Nice, you get like a secondary bounce off of them. So it's very Mario. Oh, we might have actually needed to use one of those enemies to get to there. There's our flags. Okay, so we do have a little bit of some simple code to work. One's hard. I think we must have to bounce off of those. You don't bounce very high. Are you... Jump again after you bounce off? That doesn't get you very high. I don't know how you would get up to that one. I think this could use like a little bit of cheater, like, to make it a more fun game. I think it could use a little bit of cheater radius on collecting the coins. Like make it so you don't have to be quite as close. I think right now you gotta get like center mass on the coins. Still unclear, do you... Can make that jump. Bounce higher coming... You know what would be interesting is if you were like flubber shoes or something, where you bounce a little bit higher if you keep bouncing. That way you can like build up momentum and keep going higher and higher. Could be kind of a fun gimmick. Okay. This is nice though. This is a good bit to start from at the very least. Like draw inspiration from the code. Found some things that I would want to do a little bit differently, like the cheater radius on grabbing stuff, getting the coins. Ooh. Does this say anything about that third platform? Are these the same platforms that were in the level editor? I don't think so. Oh, you can go through? You can go through. Okay, I didn't realize that. Go through. Oh, can I? Oh, you cannot get them both at once. I feel like I bonked both of those bad guys there, but Unable to get. Unable to get through. I wonder if we could make it so you bounce higher off the enemies. Let's try to do that real quick. I'll probably wrap up the stream after that. Because this is essentially what I wanted to do today, was just poke around the docks a bit, see what's new, play with some of the new stuff, and think about what kind of game I want to make. Look through the examples. So, like, it's not a particularly structured stream day, but this is kind of the stuff I wanted to do. Let's figure out where is this code. Does it... was fired. Coyote is active. jbuff. Buff.feed. What jbuff would be. Assume if j fired landed. 1 jump per ledge window. Okay, coyote. I think this is must be they call this like, do they call it coyote timing or coyote gravity or coyote edge or whatever? I think the idea here is you can run lots of platformers. They do this to make the game more fun to play, basically. I think the deal is you can actually run off the edge a little bit. Like, playing by true, real physics, you would fall and you wouldn't be able to jump like that. Like, you can even... There you can see, like, I start to go down a little bit. Oop, didn't get it that time. Like that one. I started to go down a little bit. But you can still jump after that. And they call that, I think, coyote timing or something, because it's like Coyote from Roadrunner in Coyote. Roadrunner's always running off the ledge straight. But Coyote falls. I should call it Roadrunner timing, I guess, because you get the Roadrunner behavior, not the Coyote one. But anyway. That part's not landing on enemies, though. Falls in a pit, coins, goal, enemies. Here we go. For enemies... if e.data.on continue, it must be like, if not, so this is like a high level on off. Maybe once you stomp on them, they get turned off, I'm guessing. Turn at a wall or ledge. So as they're walking, if they hit a wall or a ledge, they turn. Player interactions, here we go, we're getting close. If the player overlaps with E, the enemy, then if the player is falling onto its head. So, what is ST? State? State. So if state dot, I'm guessing velocity y is greater than 1, which would tell you that you're falling, and state dot position y is less than or equal to E, which is the enemy.data.y, so the y of its sprite, or a little bit higher. I don't know if that's bottom left or middle or what. Would this be a little bit lower? If it's less than data y plus, this would push it down, I think. Not sure, actually, if 0, 0 is at the top or the bottom. We'll have to figure that out. But in any case, that's what, I mean, the comment tells us what this is doing, is checking that the player is falling down. So state must be the player's state, right? The player's velocity, the player's position. So when that happens, e.data.on is set to false, so enemies turned off, therefore doesn't get the rest of the stuff anymore because it continues out of this loop. E.visible is set to false, so it's not drawn. State.velocity y is set to negative 7.0. Score plus 200. Kit.boom. That might be a sound thing. I don't actually have speakers or anything hooked up, so I wouldn't hear it right now if so. But I think that might be a sound thing. But right here, velocity y, this is where we can control the jump, right? So here, so it's negative because it's going to want to go up. So that tells us actually that 0 is at the top. It's negative, so it wants to go up. Let me find one more spot. Where's the regular jump? Because I'm guessing the regular jump does this also, but uses a lower, technically, a lower negative number, a number that is larger than 7, but also negative. Y. One other spot, and I'm guessing that's got to be the jump. Indeed, it's 11. And let's just make sure this is where it's at. So per frame loop, while true, button pull, left and right buttons. Okay, we don't care too much. Jump, J press, jump button pressed here. Feed, I don't know about feed really, what that's for. Remember an early jump press, feed, jbuff.feed, I don't know for sure. But we have the coyote stuff still here a little bit. Coyote feed landed. J fired, jump fired, I guess. Coyote is active, and jump buff is consumed. Or J fired is those together, actually. If J fired, so this is that we did actually jump. All of this is like reading buttons and determining whether the player has pressed the up button and presumably is on either solid ground or coyote ground and thus can actually jump. If they're in midair and they press the up button, then nothing will happen. Likely due to this not setting J fired because of some of the stuff in here. But here it does set it to -11. So when you jump, you get -11 velocity. When you bounce off an enemy right now, you only get -7 velocity. I think it would be fun if you got more velocity for jumping on an enemy. And theoretically, that should put us within range, possibly, of getting to that upper island thing. Ah, yeah, look at that. So now we jump super high after we go off an enemy. Boing? That's cool. We probably don't even need all the way to 14, but it is fun. Okay, and then here, so we still can't get to it. We can't get to it normal. But what we can do now is boing, and then this lets us get to it. So that's cool. Yeah, I like that. I like that. I like being able to get higher when you bounce off the enemy. I think that's a nice touch. So if I do go with side scroller, I will probably have that. Yeah, that gets you all the way back up there. That's cool. That's cool. I like that. I do have to think, like, what other, like, I want probably some kind of gimmick. I don't want to just do a straight up like Mario side scroller, get coins, stomp mushrooms. That's it. I don't know. I'll have to think. I almost want to go like a little more puzzly, puzzle gamey, not like speed runny, not like, you know, bullet hell E where you just have a bajillion enemies. But yeah, maybe I'm thinking like puzzle like where you have to work your way through a bit of a maze to get to the end. Man, I wonder how like I'm sure the answer is quite difficult. But I wonder how hard it would be to put portals into a side scroller like this. So then it could be puzzle gamey instead of like fast action paced. And the deal is you get to shoot your portals and So, and then maybe you can shoot the portals on a straight line from your character. Or maybe you have a certain amount of distance or something. That sounds kind of cool. I might go that route. Like side-scroller sort of platform, like this control scheme, this camera setup and everything. But instead of it being like try to stomp on the enemies and collect the coins and get to the end, and that being it, like, and like this one is very wide open, right? Like very first level Mario, wide open, just has a couple platforms and a couple pitfalls. But I'm imagining more like almost Mega Man or something where it's like got vertical levels and you're having to maybe jump, jump over to here. Or, well, we can't actually get onto that one anymore because we have no more enemies. But maybe you got to jump on this one, and from there you get up on this one over on the left side, and from that one you can jump over to the right side. You got to get yourself like up somewhere. And then maybe you can like shoot your portal through a little gap or whatever, and that's going to help you get to the other side to where the goal is at. Oh. I think I got saved by Coyote there, actually. I think I'm with real physics, I might have actually just fallen in there. And so I think the key to this would just be the portal would be an object, kind of like the coins are in this one. But when you intersect with it, instead of collecting a coin and getting a point or whatever, you would, as long as the paired portal is out somewhere, you would instantly, your position would change to the position of the paired portal, but your velocity would stay the same. So much like Portal, you keep the momentum that you have. Yeah, this sounds pretty cool. I think this might be what I try to make. This would be cool. One thing is, like, with a game like this, to make it like an actual, the whole game is in the puzzles, is in the levels, right? I don't know how many levels I'll actually create, so this is not a thing where I'm like gonna try to make a fully releasable, go and sell it on Steam game or anything, but being able to play it and have a couple of levels and have the engine out there to where other people could go and build levels for it if they wanted to. That's, I think, where the sort of goal is to end up, I think. Maybe we have 1 or 2 or 3 levels created that I will create, and then the whole engine to play the game is out there, and people can create more levels if they want. Yeah, I think this would be pretty cool. I like the portal thing. I do like the portal thing. I don't know if there's going to be more tricks to it. Like, is it really just as simple as updating the character's sprite to XY in the other one? Like, maybe there's more... Maybe there's more to it that makes it trickier than that, but... It'd be fun, at least for a try. Alright. I think I'm probably gonna wrap it up here. I should be back, I think, on Tuesday for the normal stream over on the Adafruit channel, 10 a.m. Central Time. I will be there working on CircuitPython stuff. I will stream on Friday for the Game Jam on CircuitPython Day. I want to say in the late afternoon to evening. I got like 4 my time or 5 my time? 5 my time, 6 p.m. Eastern. 5 p.m. my time. So on Friday at 6 p.m. Eastern, I will be streaming for the Game Jam. I'll do probably just an hour that night. But I will probably keep working on the game and stream it some more, maybe on the following Tuesday or maybe over the weekend a little bit. So unlike a traditional game jam, like my intention is not to just sit down and work on this game all week or whatever, or all weekend or anything even. But it is to kind of hammer out a bunch of it that I can during the stream, and then in the next like week or so after that, I will be working on it behind the streams a bit. I'll probably stream on it at least once or twice more, and then I will basically publish what I have on GitHub. Maybe make a playground or something possibly, but that will be the plan. So I don't know for sure about next Saturday. I probably will not do next Saturday stream at the normal time here, 10 a.m. Central Time on Saturday, just because I'll be fresh off of the Friday evening stream, and I did that for a while when I was filling in for Scott on Deep Dive, where I was doing Friday evening and then Saturday morning, and it's a bit much. I like a little bit more time in between the streams, so I probably won't be around next Saturday at this time. But I may stream at some point next weekend, so if you want the pop-up, you can follow me on the places. Otherwise, you can catch the VOD always as well. I think I'm basically just rambling at this point, so yeah, Game Jam stream on Friday. I think no stream at the normal time, at least next Saturday, but I will be back on Tuesday this week, Tuesday next week for the Adafruit streams. And that's all. So long, farewell, thanks for watching. I will see you later.